What's going on, everyone? My name is Josh's19 and today we're going to be going over the new patch in Overwatch. Today we have the June 14th patch and it brought some new balances. No pun on the shoes. So I'm sure most of you guys have read the patch notes. If not, I will go over them briefly. Of course, our first change here was for McCree. His alt fire, which is his right click, now has a new recovery time, decreased from 0.75 seconds to 0.3 seconds. What that means is basically he will now be reloading a little bit faster after he uses his right click. However, he also got a decrease to the damage that he will be dealing with his alternate fire, basically his right click. So now he can't basically tear through tanks anymore like he could before. I feel that this change has really balanced him out. I tried him a little bit so far. Of course, it is a lot harder to get some solid kills with him now compared to before, but I feel like generally he's not going to be 100% pick like he has been in the past. So Blizzard feels the same way. Basically, they made this change because they feel that he shouldn't be doing so much damage to tanks to where he could just tear through them so quickly. But with the change they made, he can still easily kill other heroes such as Tracer and Genji without too much of an issue. The next change that we had, or balance we had, was for Widowmaker. So there's a couple changes here. Her base damage has been decreased from 15 to 12. So basically what that means is that a fully charged body shot will now deal 120 damage versus 150 damage before. So guess who gets to shine now? We have Mr. Zenyatta. He is now safe from Widowmaker, at least not getting one shot from Widowmaker. So it's great. It makes him more powerful. We should start seeing Zenyatta be picked a lot more as a support hero because he won't just die in one shot to Widowmaker. So that's great. They've also made a change to how her zoom in works. So basically before you could just continue to press right click and you could kind of zoom in and you could kind of get to this point where you were like halfway zoomed in, you could still move around and then you could instantly zoom in and snipe a target. So now they've kind of changed as once you've zoomed in, your gun has to completely go back down before you can actually re-zoom in. So I tried this a little bit earlier in the training grounds and it is a lot slower. So you can't zoom in, zoom out as quickly and as much as before. And it can make the pace of Widowmaker a little bit slower. Might be quite a bit harder for some of those pro players to get a lot of those quick kills like they were before. However, she still is very viable and I think she's still going to be a good pick. But it's just she's not going to be as crazy as she was before. For a lot of newer players or people who aren't quite as, I guess, skillful at the game, she may seem like she's completely nerfed and she sucks now and there's no point in playing her. Well, that's not the case. Again, they're catering this to more of the competitive scene, so a lot of players and pros who were very, very good with her. If you watched mostly any pro matches, you would see 100% of the time Widowmaker was picked. It was also the same for McCree, so that's why I feel like they've made these changes. The other thing that they've kind of adjusted, since they've decreased the base damage of her snipe from 15 to 12, they've also increased her headshot damage multiplier from 2 to 2.5. This basically means that you'll be doing the exact same amount of damage you were before if you get a headshot. So ultimately a headshot can result in about 300 damage that you can do to a target. So if you're an accurate player, again, you shouldn't have too much of an issue, or this change shouldn't be too crazy for you as a Widowmaker, aside from, again, the zooming and zooming out of the weapon, which will make, obviously, you getting out those shots quite a bit slower, just because, again, you don't want to constantly be zoomed in, because then you lose, of course, all of your sight, but at the same point, you want to be able to move around effectively, and being able to zoom in quickly can be a little bit harder now with those nerfs. The other thing that they've also nerfed with Widowmaker is her Infrasight. Again, this is her ultimate. It takes 10% longer to get that charge. Again, Blizzard feels that, at least for pro players, they were getting Widowmaker was getting her ultimate too fast, to where basically teams were just having her Infrasight up all the time to where you can just see where everyone is. And became a little bit overpowered and ridiculous, and of course a lot of people were not too happy about that. So this will make it a little bit longer. Again, it shouldn't make too much of a difference. Again, 10% not too much, but again, it is more of a balance, and I feel like overall these two balance changes between McCree and Widowmaker have definitely made things a lot better. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. I would like to hear your opinions on if you think that these changes are good for the game. Also, I'd like to hear what other changes do you guys think should happen in the future. What heroes do you think Blizzard should modify next to help balance the game more? So I'd be very curious to hear what you guys think about that. A couple other things from the patch, just very minor things. They fixed a couple bugs which were very helpful. So they fixed the bug that allowed Reaper to shadow step to untended locations on certain maps. So I'm sure most of you guys have probably seen some of those GIFs or videos of Reaper on some of the attack maps kind of just glitching through the map and getting places he was not supposed to, or glitching through the ceiling or something like that, again in certain areas. So they've helped prevent that from happening now, which is great. I hadn't really noticed it when I was playing, if people were abusing that or anything like that. Nothing that really stuck out to me when I was playing, but again, just because it was there, it's great that they're going ahead and fixing it. There was also a bug that was allowing Mercy to gain ultimate charge whenever she was damage boosting someone who was attacking either a barrier or an ice wall. They've now fixed that, again, because they don't want Mercy being able to get her ult too fast on just people shooting shields and things like that. So basically that's kind of what came out of the patch. Again, if you guys would provide me some feedback on what you think about the changes in this patch and what you would like to see in the future for some of the balance changes of the game, that would be great. Go ahead and hit the like button. If you'd like to see more videos in the future, then go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.